Participial adjectives by Leslie Hernández and Juan Camilo Trejos. The English language has a lot of adjectives. Some estimates put the number at several thousand, and while those numbers may sound frightening, adjectives can be exciting. In English, many adjectives come from verbs. Today, we will tell you about participial adjectives. So, some participles like bored and boring can be used as adjectives. These are used in a slightly different way from normal adjectives. First, we usually use the past participle ending in ed to talk about how someone feels. For example, I was really bored during the flight. She is interested in history. John is frightened of spiders. Please keep in mind that you can't use this form with objects because they don't have feelings. On the other hand, we usually use the present participle ending in ing to talk about the person, thing, or situation which causes a feeling. For example, the show that annoys me is the annoying show. Other examples: it was such a long, boring flight, so I was bored. I read a really interesting book about history, so I was interested. Many people find spiders frightening, so they are frightened when they see spiders. It is important to keep in mind that I was boring is very different from I was bored. For example, I was really bored during the flight. That means I felt bored. The other example, I was really boring during the flight. That means that I caused other people to be bored. If you look at example in Spanish, when you say I'm interesting, you mean soy interesante. And when you say I'm interested, that means estoy interesado. Here are some examples of when one person causes a feeling in another person. She is a really interesting woman. She has lived all over the world and speaks five languages. My math teacher at school was really frightening. He was always shooting at the students. Also, you need to know that these participle adjectives make their comparative by using more, not er, and their superlative by using most, not est. So, for example, I was more frightened of dogs than spiders when I was a child. That book is more boring than this one. I think Dr. Smith's lesson was more interesting than Dr. Brown's. For 24 hours on the flight to Australia, I was the most bored I have ever been. I think this is the most interesting talk we have heard today. It was the most frightening film that he had ever seen. Thanks for watching. We hope you understand the information we provided.